Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie. My name is Susan LaCroix. That's my phenomenal daughter, Julie. We've been demonstrators for 20 years this year. Milestone years all around for us. I hit my 500,000 career sales, and Julie Bird got her million. And I'm so proud of her. There are no words. There truly are no words. But as we are actually pre-recording this because next weekend we will be in Indianapolis for On Stage, and we're so excited because we're going to get the new catalog.
Yay!
I know, right? The new mini catalog, not annual, the new mini catalog. And we'll make new projects and we get to see people again. It was so it truly is the highlight, actually getting to be together with stamping friends from all over the country, sometimes the world, depending on where things are. And yeah, so that's what we're doing.
You mentioned all those celebrations, and I just want to give a plug to next week's episode. Be sure that you tune in next Sunday. We have a very, very special episode for you that is sort of in celebration of all of our milestones and achievements that we've had this year. And I'm really excited about next week's episode. But we have a lot of fun planned for today too.
We do, but before we even go one step further, Stampin' Up wants us to tell you that the results that Julie and I have achieved it is not normal. And less than 0.1% of demonstrators achieve that. So and it took me 20 years to get 500,000. So just to kind of put things in perspective. But I've loved every minute of it, really. So
it has been so much fun. And most of the fun and the memories that I have are all from traveling to conferences and traveling like on incentive trips. We literally have been all over the world with Stampin' Up. And so yesterday with On Stage, and for those of you who are not demonstrators, On Stage is a Stampin' Up conference. So it was a one-day conference. It was in 5 different locations in the US, plus a live event in Vienna, Austria, and some local events in the South Pacific as well. And so we were in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the United States, and there was the same event happening in other locations in the US and around the world, all on the same day. Demonstrators gathering together for training and an opportunity to see products from the new catalog, and stamping and gathering and swapping and all the fun things that we do when we're together. Yes, lots of hugging.
So anyway, so that's why that's one of the reasons we're pre-recording, but we're going to have some fun today because this is a stamping. Well, let's call this one Sunday Stamping Along with Susan and Julie.
It's a Sunday stamp along.
Sunday stamp along. So we did this back in, I want to say October.
Yes, it was for World Card Making Day on October. After party. So October 2nd was our first stamp along in this style, and your feedback was amazing. You guys loved it, and so we're gonna keep it up as a regular feature, I don't know what I'm thinking.
It's a regular thing. We'll mix things up. So
a regular thing. So today's stamp along, and depending on traveling, it's possible. Mom, I know you're going to be driving home possibly still, so you might not be there for the live chat. But that's the glorious thing about doing our videos pre-recorded, is that we can plan ahead so that if there's other things going on that day, we won't miss bringing you an episode of Sunday Stamping, where every Sunday at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, I don't think we have missed a single Sunday.
Knock on wood. Bam, bam.
Yes, knock on everything. Well, let's flip the cameras around and get started with today's stamp along.
Oh, I need to get my stuff out.
You do. All right, so today's stamp along, let's turn on a light. There it is. Mom and I each have prepared a card, and you know what I forgot to do? Okay.
What did you forget to do?
We'll just have to edit this. I forgot to remove us.
Oh.
Yeah. I did a instead of doing a replace, I did an add spotlight. Okay, so we'll just cut that part. Blah 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so if you are new to our Sunday stamping series, we did this before. It's a stamp along. So we tried mystery stamping once where we give you written instructions that you follow along to, and I don't know, that wasn't as fun. I find sometimes the mystery stamping is hard. We're visual people as crafters. So instead we're doing a stamp along. We have prepared measurements. Hopefully you have your pieces ready to go. And if you don't, feel free to pause the screen right now so that you can prepare your materials. For my card, you're going to need a 5.5 by 8.5 card base scored at 4 1/4, a background layer that is 4 inches by 5 1/4, a designer paper that is 1.5 by 4, another designer paper, and I actually substituted embossed cardstock on mine for this one. That is 1.5 by 4 3/4, and then approximately a 1.5 inch by 2.5 inch label or die cut image. So I have a piece of scrap cardstock so that I can stamp and punch my image, and then a greeting stamp to fit in a space that's approximately 1 by 2, and that's going to just go on the background cardstock. So if you have your pieces ready, hopefully you will be stamping along with us. So what we're going to do is I'm going to demonstrate my card, and at the same time, Mom is going to stamp along. So I'm going to add her spotlight in here. You're going to get a split screen, and you'll see both of our desktops as we are. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's funny.
I forgot a piece.
No, I'm looking at your poinsettia, and I have a sample made with a poinsettia.
Oh.
I think that's so funny. I made a couple samples. I'll show them to you at the very end. Okay, let me move this box out of the way. That's for Mom's card. All right, so I'm using for my card, I'm using the Lasting and Lovely stamp set. This is from the annual catalog. It has some coordinating lovely linen designer paper, which I think is like you either love it or hate it kind of paper. It's a 12 by 12 paper. I love the colors: Sweet Sorbet, Pale Papaya, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, Night of Navy. They're very like upholstery kind of patterns. And so I know some people really are not a fan, and others are, but I really love the flower pattern. That one's my favorite. So I cut a little piece of that, and then the embossed cardstock is using the quatrefoil embossing folder, which has a very similar design than what's on the designer paper. So that's what I'm using today. Mom, what have you got on your desk?
Okay, I just want to make sure I measured this right because all of a sudden it's not looking right to me. So I have chosen to use the boughs of holly. And so my card base will be Mossy Meadow. And then I've got some strips of designer series paper. I think my camera's tilting again. Okay, let's hope that's better. Okay, and I fussy cut out a poinsettia. And I have some other strips here for, so I could decide between cherry cobbler and real red. So I got a little bit of everything in the kitchen sink. And some basic.
I love it.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with the background piece. So on some of these, I guess on most of my other samples, like I don't have anything stamped on this layer, but for my card, I did want to add just a little bit of the large flower at the bottom. This also, if you are stamping a sentiment on your card, mine's going to go on the label punch out piece, but if you're stamping a sentiment, then you'll not want to probably add much here because you're going to be stamping your words there. But because I don't have words, I'm going to stamp that layer. So I just started with that background piece, and then we're going to put that onto the card base. So let me grab my adhesive. So this is just straight up layering it on there. This card can go either way. You can have it be a horizontal or a vertical card. And so I have Yeah, I'm gonna bring it in here. I have another card, more card pieces prepared using the Butterfly Kisses designer paper. And it's got Starry Sky and Parakeet Party. And so I thought I would show it one vertical and one horizontal. So I'm going to kind of be working on two at a time. Hopefully it's not confusing, but I think you can tell the difference between my cards because they're very different colors. Okay, so that's just going to go on the card base. I always keep mine flat while I'm working, and then I fold them at the end. Okay, so next up you've got two pieces for each card, two strips of designer paper. We're coordinating cardstock. And so we're going to cut a banner tip on both of these pieces. And I'm going to use my scissors to do that by cutting straight up the middle, just about a 1/2 inch, and then cutting from each corner to the top of that cut to create a banner tip. And I'm going to do this on both pieces. I'm doing 2 cards, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other one as well, straight up the middle, and then from each corner to the top of that middle one.
Interesting.
What's interesting?
Oh, I thought about doing a coordinating piece of designer series paper, but I have the same
The same
one.
pieces?
Yeah.
Well, isn't it wonderful that our designer paper has 2 sides?
Well, it does. I suppose that would work, huh?
Yeah. Or you could use the same paper.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to take the longer piece and we're going to put that onto the card so that it is at the top of the vertical card, about a 1/4 inch from the side. Or if you're doing a horizontal card, it's going to be in the lower left corner, again, about a 1/4 inch from the bottom. So a 1/4 inch from the longer side, depending on which way your card is going. And I suppose if you really wanted to, you could like flip it around and make it go the opposite direction. Next up, you might have guessed, we're going to, oops, get adhesive all over our card. We're going to overlap the second piece with the first piece. I gotta tear this up. Hold on a second. I was debating on whether or not to go to the top of the background cardstock or the top of the card. And I started at the top, but I want it just to go to the top of the background piece. So I am just going to stagger the second one on top. And same thing with the horizontal version. I'm going to just come and layer it like that.
Okay.
Looking good there, Mom. You've got your embellishment all ready to go. And I do for my butterfly card. That's going to go over the banners. And you'll want to use Stampin' Dimensionals to put that on. For the lovely linen card, I am going to do some stamping and stamp and punch out a label to put there. So this one with the Butterfly Kisses paper, I just fussy cut that butterfly out. I just think he's so cute. So I have this ready to go. Now for the lovely linen card, I'm going to stamp the frame and a sentiment in it, and then use the coordinating punch to punch it out. So I'm going to start with the frame. I'm using Sweet Sorbet, which is the red in this designer paper. And then I'm going to add the sentiment with black ink. and I chose Thinking of You. And then I'm going to use the lasting label punch to punch out the sentiment. So on this card, it's going to overlap the banners. And I want to add a little bit of something under here. So I brought in some of the Pale Papaya open weave ribbon and thought I would just add like a little bit of ribbon behind
It needs to be re-inked.
behind the label. Oh, I love that poinsettia.
Thank you.
I'm going to use some adhesive on the back of the label to hold the ribbon. Actually, I think I want to make it go the other way.
Oh, I need it. Get that. No, I don't like that.
I'm fussing too much and then I don't like it. Just let it go. Just do it. I'm done. All right, I think I like that better. So I'm going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to add that to the card. And the last step is to add your greeting. Now on my card, my greeting is on my punch out piece, but on the butterfly card, I'm going to add that in the empty space. So if you have a horizontal card, it'll be maybe up here. If you have a vertical card kind of down here where I had stamped those flowers. So wherever your greeting makes sense, you're going to add the greeting to your card next. I chose All My Love. Oh, I like that. It's from the Best Butterflies stamp set. And then the last thing to do is to add embellishments as desired. So if you want to bling it up, you can bling or add some ribbon. I should have gotten these out, but I think my butterfly card especially needs some bling. So I'm going to use the Fun Flower Resin Shapes to add some flowers to the card. And I don't know, I think maybe this one could use a little bling. What do you think, Mom?
Always.
Always. For sure. Okay, so let's see. Maybe some of these polished dots. I like those. Did you add any bling to your card?
I did. I added a sequin, gold sequin in the middle of the flower.
Oh, nice.
And I realized after I stamped this, I need to re-ink my Mossy Meadow. So I'm gonna have to do something here. So I'll re-ink, do something with the greeting.
I have problems with my Mossy Meadow too. All right, there's the finished lasting and lovely card. And I'm gonna add, let's see.
Oh, I don't know. No, I'm gonna leave it.
I'm gonna add some flowers.
When you said you the card needed embellishments, what I thought of were those resin flowers. So good job, good choice.
Yes.
That's so cute. I
All
love
right,
those
so
colors together.
There's the butterfly. And the original inspiration for this card was one that I had created using the He's the Man designer paper.
Oh
And
yeah.
for this one, I embossed the background because my sentiment was on the label. So this was my inspiration, and you can still get all of the designer paper to make that. And I also did make one with the poinsettia.
Oh,
I used crumb cake for my card base and some green designer paper, and then I added a little bit of gold twine behind the die cut.
very
Not
nice.
die
I
cut, the
almost
fussy
switched
cut.
this piece out for green,
Mm.
but then just chose not to.
All right. I love this card layout, and I feel like I could just keep going and change up and use some different paper. But I can't wait to see, Mom, what you have planned for us. Are you ready to share your card measurements?
I am. All right. So for my card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I chose two pieces, 4 inches by 5 1/4 of neutral cardstock. In my case, I'm using basic white, but depending on what your other colors are, that could change for you. And a piece of 5 1/4 by 1.5 inch designer series paper. And then the way this is laid out, you've got approximately 3 inches by 3.5 inches for your design element, whether it's a stamped image, a label, die cutting out of designer series paper. And then there's a spot for a greeting, 1 inch by 2.25 inches. So you could either do a tag or you could stamp right on the card front. So if you need a few minutes, you might want to pause the video if you want to finish prepping for this card. Okay. All right.
Sounds good. Show us what designer paper and stamp set you're using today.
Well, I am using, because I did this the last time and I liked it, I am using the Bows of Holly designer series paper and the stamp set. So let's get started. So my card base is shaded spruce. I haven't shown it much love this holiday season. And a piece of basic white that's going to go over that. I have my inside done already. So I took, like on the designer series paper, if you look at the edges, you know how it's kind of cut off a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. I found a corner over here and I cut this bad boy out and just stuck it in the corner.
Oh, nice. What a great way to use every little bit of that paper.
Absolutely. All right. So now we've got our strip of designers. This is a very, very easy card, by the way. This is a Julie card because she loves simple stamping.
I do love simple stamping. I felt like my card was really easy too. Well, I decided to break out the gnomes for my card. You know, I don't love them, but I do like the paper, and I like using the pre-colored pieces from the paper. So I've kind of fussy cut from that for my
There
card.
you go. There you go. All right. So we have our strip of designer series paper. And I'm using, I'm almost using the same things that that I did for Julie's card. But rather than use the poinsettia side, I'm using the more muted side for this. And so you're going to adhere this on the white designer series paper right to the edge.
I cheated. I'm using blue instead. Pool party.
That's okay. It's not cheating. It's your card. Oh, come on, baby. All right. And then we'll put this piece on our, I'm using my mouse. I just picked up my mouse to add adhesive.
They're about the same size.
About the same size, yeah. And then we're going to line this up on our card base. And I'm going to go ahead and put my inside piece that I have done. Oh, you know what I should have done first? Well, we're going to give it a go and see how it looks. I should have stamped my greeting before I glued that on. That's my rule. Do your stamping before you put glue on paper. All right. So I grabbed the season greetings dies and my shaded spruce ink. And we're going to stamp that in the lower right-hand corner here. And then we're going to add dimensionals to our flowers. So they're going to kind of go, oh, like this maybe, and like this, just to kind of put a splash of poinsettias on the card. And we're going to use dimensionals for all of that. And of course we need bling. And I'll show you, I mean, I had a couple different ideas for where to put the bling. And then I'll show you what I settled on. I do love these poinsettias.
Yes, I wish we had poinsettia stamps in the catalog, but it's only on the designer paper.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. So let's go maybe up here. So I brought out those sequins again. Again, that's a product I haven't shown a lot of love to. All right, let's do this guy. It really doesn't matter which way it goes. Let's do this. Actually, a little bit. So I'm overlapping one of the poinsettia just a little bit. All right, so like I said, I brought out the sequins, but these sequins really go very well with this suite. Where are the green ones? Oh, sure. Well, maybe I'm just going to go with my original. I must have left the green ones over on the other side of the table. Anyway, so there are some like shaded spruce ones. My original intent was to put some of the green ones around, but then I decided to go with the gold for the center of the flowers. So I'm using big gold sequins on the bigger flowers and a smaller gold sequin, which follows my rule of 3.
I like the gold for sure with those poinsettias.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And that is my card. I think it's simple. You can, if you sit and watch TV and fussy cut poinsettias, you can make quite a few of these.
Yeah, I love that.
So
I'm trying to decide about bling for my card. I think I'm gonna add them up here to the toadstool.
Oh yeah, that would work.
What do you think?
Isn't that sweet?
A little bejeweled.
A little jeweled toadstool.
Yeah.
So
What a great layout. I love this one too.
Yeah, I think it's simple. I mean, if I hold yours up in mine, then that's similar.
Yes.
And I don't know why I just decided to use the same. I did that before. And I don't know. just kind of seems to work.
They look great. I love them. Well, let's flip the camera around and we'll show off our cards together.
All right.
This was so much fun. I love doing a stamp along project. I hope everyone at home, I hope you enjoyed as well. Leave a comment and let us know if you like this style video, if you want to see more Sunday stamp alongs. And if you do, then we'll do this again. We got to get Amy to come back in for a stamp along. It's been a while since we've had her on the show.
Yeah, we do need to. We'll figure something out.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm just going to reiterate, if you're not already a subscriber, be sure that you subscribe to our channel because you do not want to miss out on next week's Sunday stamping episode. It is a special celebratory episode and it is going to be so much fun. I'm not going to say anything else. You don't have to prepare anything. Just show up, be ready to watch, and you're in for a treat.
Get a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea, a cookie or two, and sit back and enjoy the show.
I will say it is a little bit longer than a normal episode.
Yes.
But it won't, hopefully, I don't think it'll feel like it's a really long video.
I don't think so.
So fun to tease. I'm sorry at home, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Until next Sunday stamping with Susan and Julie. We'll see you. Have a good week. Bye, Julie. Love you.
Bye, Mom. Bye, everybody. See you next time.